Now, subordinate clauses can also act like adverbs, and they're going to do exactly the same thing that we expect adverbs to do. And so this is, by definition, a subordinate clause acting like an adverb. Now, those adverb questions, where, when, how, and to what extent, still apply. And so if we have a dependent or subordinate clause which answers any one of those adverb questions, the whole clause is acting like an adverb. So we arrived late. Action verb, who or what arrived, we did, when did we arrive, or how did we arrive, adverb, late. We arrived after the bus had left. Here we have our action verb, who or what arrived, we did, the bus had left. Here is another action verb, who or what, the bus had left. After is one of those key words, those subordinating conjunctions. What is this telling us? It's telling us when we arrived. And so that makes that whole clause an adverb. So let's look at a few more examples. Again, we're always going to go through and mark subjects and verb pairs so that we get everything fenced off and paired up together. Donna sounds as if she has caught a cold. Sounds, that's one of our linking verbs. Who or what sounds, Donna does. Has caught is an action verb. Who or what has caught, she has caught a cold, direct object. I'm drawn to these keywords as if. That tells me that this is the clause telling me how she sounds. Adverb. Before we left, we lowered the blinds. Again, this comma interests me because just like adjectives, adverb clauses can be removed. So we, subject, left. We, subject, lowered. What did we lower? The blinds, action verb, direct object. But before we left can't stand by itself, and it tells me when we lowered the blinds. So that makes this an adverb. You will see our house where the road turns right. Will see, action verb. Who or what will see? You will see. What will you see? House, direct object. You will see our house. That's most likely our independent clause. Here's one of those look closely words. Turns is my verb. Who or what turns? The road turns. Turns right. That's an adverb telling me where or how it turns. But this whole thing, where the road turns right, tells me where I will see the house. It doesn't tell me which house, it tells me where I will see. And since it points back to the verb, that makes this an adverb. Again, careful with questions. Will you move so that I can see? So will move is an action verb. Who or what will move? You will. Can see is my second verb. Who or what can see? I can see. And again, I've got that so that, one of those indicator words. This so that I can see is the subordinate clause, and it's telling me why I should move. Your stereo is louder than it should be. Than it should be tells me to what degree it is loud. To what extent is it loud? Well, what is louder? In this case, I have a linking verb. Who or what is? The stereo is. Louder is a predicate adjective. What modifies adjectives? Adverbs. Andre can type faster than anyone else in his computer class can. So Andre can type faster. That is my independent clause. Anyone else in his computer class can. Well, in his computer class as a prep phrase, I'm going to cross that off to clear my thinking. So anyone, so I've got Andre, subject, can type, verb. How does he type? Faster. There's an adjective, or adverb describing how he types. Anyone can, there's my second subject and verb, and what is left off here is can anyone type? That's an elliptical structure, and we can do that. So he can type faster than anyone else in his class can type. So that word is left off, it's just implied. Obviously, this is our dependent or subordinate clause telling us to what extent is he faster or how is he faster, which makes it an adverb. As long as he starts early, he will arrive on time. There's my comma. He will arrive on time is an independent clause, which means as long as he starts early, tells me when or why or how he will arrive, which clearly make this clause an adverb. Now you don't have to memorize the subordinating conjunctions, but it is nice to, excuse that pop-up, it is nice to remember them or kind of become familiar with them because they are nice little signposts that there is a subordinating clause of some sort coming after. You still have to ask yourself the adjective or adverb questions, but they are nice signposts that there is something else coming. Now to go ahead and do a few more practice examples. If we focus on those subordinating conjunctions like when and although, since, because, it helps us see much more quickly Maurice Prendergast, subject, enjoyed, action verb, enjoyed what? Drawing, gerund as a direct object, when, he, subject, was, linking verb, child, predicate nominative. But this word helps me see that that is telling me when he enjoyed, when he was still a child, adverb. So this would be a great place to pause the video, try the next few examples, and then turn the video back on. So although he was born in Canada, tells us more about why or when he studied art. And since studied is a verb, the phrase is an adverb. Since he carved pictures for a living, again, that comma was a key. That tells me how or when or why his interest in art grew. And here, interest is your subject and grew is your verb. Prendergast is considered a post-impressionist because this is answering why he is considered. Again, it's not which post-impressionist or what kind of post-impressionist, it's why he is considered. Notice also there's no comma here. When you have because within a sentence, there's no comma. It only happens at the beginning. The last few examples, watercolor was his preferred medium when he was young. There's that subordinating conjunction. So when he was young, subject he, was, linking verb, young, predicate adjective, tells me watercolor was his preferred medium. It's when was it. It's not which medium, it's when it was his preferred medium. And now that feels like a weird one, but again, as a test, you could say when he was young, comma, watercolor was his preferred medium. Medium does happen to be a predicate nominative, renaming watercolor the subject. But again, if you can move it to the beginning or to the end, it is an adverb, not an adjective. Umbrellas in the Rain was painted while Prendergast lived in Europe, tells me when it was painted. And although Prendergast used oils for his later work, these had the same mosaic-like effect as his watercolors. Even though it's getting long, there's my comma. Something that starts with although can't stand on its own. If I look at these had the same mosaic-like effect as his watercolors, that can stand on its own. This is answering the to what extent or why question. Again, I can pick it up and move it to the end. These had the same mosaic-like effects as his watercolors, although he used oils for his later work. So that wraps up the discussion of adverb clauses.